Hi guys, welcome back to Zenity Tech. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a simple pop-up form. So this is the pop-up form we're going to be looking at in this video. You can see we can close this button, we can click this button and the pop-up form shows. So I'm going to be explaining how this works quickly in this video. So I'm going to make this video as short and comprehensive as possible. So when you look at the screen, you can see the HTML part of our pop-up form. So and I have the CSS somewhere in another tab. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining the most important aspect of this CSS, as I'm going to copy this CSS and paste it here. So what I want to achieve in this video is for you to understand the logic behind this pop-up form, and you're able to do it yourself without copying and pasting other people's code. Okay, so look at my CSS. I will scroll so that if you want to type in your own, you can as well see it very clearly. But the most important thing is that you understand the logic and you're able to achieve this on your own. So I'm going to be explaining the most important part of the CSS so that I can go quickly to writing the code for the JavaScript that gives this pop-up form the actual functionality we are looking at. Okay, so this is the most important part of the CSS. Let me open this. Now there is no JavaScript in this design, so you can see we have it here, but nothing is working. We can't click anything because we just have the CSS part. Okay, so mainly see the most important part of this CSS is this our container, the main, this the div that has ID with main. This is this div that has ID with main is this transparent background that you can see here that makes that shows that this particular form you are seeing on the screen is actually a pop-up form. Without the background on this particular main container, it won't look like a pop-up form. Okay, so let's see that. If I refresh, you can see you won't know that this is a pop-up form unless it carries this transparent background that makes it that shows that it is actually a pop-up form in view. Okay, so that is the most important part of the CSS. You can see the design for that container. We make it fixed and we make the container fixed so that it won't scroll, to just be there, and we keep it left 0, top 0 to make it lap well on the screen. So this is just the most important part of our CSS, which makes us see that this particular view now is a pop-up form. Okay, so by default, the pop-up form will always be will not be visible. So we are hiding the pop-up form. So we're going to be writing our JavaScripts. When we click this button, the pop-up form will show, and when we show the pop-up form, we'll click another button and we can hide the pop-up form. This is just the simple logic. We'll have a button. This is the show button and it has ID pop-up btn. Pop btn. So we're going to create a JavaScript that will add functionality to this pop btn. So quickly, let's do that. We're going to add an event. We're going to make this button listen to an event. So we say, let's show equals to, let's say, documents dot get elements by ID. And what is the ID? Let's say document dot get element by ID. Sorry. Now let's say show. Let's say show dot clink is equals to let's say function. Let's say function show dot on clink. We are adding a clink event. So when we click on this button, what will happen? Now, what we want to happen once we click on this button is to show this pop-up form, and this is the major container that contains the whole design of our pop-up form. So once we click this button, we'll ask this design to show. Remember that it's displayed none by default. We will now put it to display block. So let's see that. Let's say document.get element by ID, the main container. We want to show the main container once the show button is clicked. So we say dot style. We say dot style dot display. So this is how to use This is how to use CSS in JavaScript when we call it on an element. Okay, so if we refresh this and click this button, the pop-up option shows, but this we can't close it. But when we refresh it, it goes back to hidden. When we click this, it shows. So this is the part of the JavaScript that is controlling this button, that once we click, the pop-up form shows. And this is the first part. The second part is that we need a button that will close this form once this button is clicked, and the logic is just the same thing with the show button, with just a little difference. So let's just copy and paste this code here, and let's call this hide. Let's call this hide. And what is the button name? The close button. So let's say close button. Now once we click it, and we will say the main button, once we click the hide button, will hide the main container for our pop-up form, which is the main. Here we'll say display now goes back to none. Okay, so let's refresh this and see what we've got. You see, we click the button, it pops up. We click the button, it closes. This is just a very simple logic concerning the pop-up form. Before you go into the JavaScript, just make sure you achieve your design the way you want it to look. Then you can hide it by default and now use JavaScript to pop the form up by clicking on the button, making the design to come back to view, and you can have a button that will hide this once after you are done. Once after your user is done with whatever they do, or they don't want to continue with this pop-up form, they can simply close the button. So this is just it. And don't forget, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do me a favor, hit that press subscription button and turn on the notification bell, so when I post a new video, you will get notified about it. Thanks again once again for watching, and goodbye.